What happens when one of America's hottest regions turns coldest toward its most vulnerable residents? Arizona, famed for its sprawling deserts and stunning scenery, now serves as the setting for a heartbreaking crisis. In 2025, this documentary reveals the state grappling with one of the nation's most dramatic spikes in homelessness. As more families lose their homes, Arizona's streets become a fierce struggle for survival. Relief efforts are underway, but are they sufficient to halt the escalating crisis? Let's explore the stark reality of life on Arizona's streets. Arizona's homelessness crisis, a growing emergency. Arizona is no stranger to extremes, scorching heat, vast landscapes, and now a severe housing crisis. By mid-2025, the state is grappling with a homelessness problem that has escalated beyond urgent into a full-scale humanitarian crisis. The latest point-in-time count reveals roughly 1,737 individuals experiencing homelessness across Arizona. This isn't just a number, it's a stark reflection of lives unraveling one by one. In parking lots on streets and in fragile shelters built from tarps and desperation. In Maricopa County, encompassing Phoenix and its sprawling urban desert, now 734 people were recorded as homeless in January 2025. That marks a 3% rise from the previous year. Even more troubling, the number of unsheltered individuals, those sleeping entirely outdoors, has surged by nearly 28%. Meanwhile, available shelter beds have plummeted as federal emergency funding has vanished. What does it reveal about a place when more people are forced to sleep under the open sky, not by choice, but because they have nowhere else to turn?
Well, basically, I've been homeless the last 3 weeks now because I've been going to housing options every day for the last, since till 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's all they've been saying is basically come back tomorrow, come back tomorrow, come back tomorrow, and I've been sleeping rough ever since.
Beyond the urban core, in Arizona's rural deserts, tribal lands, and small towns, the same trend persists. In counties like Yavapai Cochise and Mojave, there's a steady increase in families losing their homes. Single mothers, Native American families, and seniors on fixed incomes are particularly at risk. While Phoenix often grabs the headlines, these smaller communities wage quieter struggles, often with scarce resources and minimal public focus. Yet this crisis isn't just about statistics. It's about watching people consumed by circumstances beyond their control, former neighbors, co-workers, classmates. So where did things start to go wrong? Let's dive deeper.
I was shitting on myself. Couldn't walk. I didn't have money to eat. I was starving. I was dirty. And nobody helps you out here. They don't give a fuck about you. They'll just leave you out here. I realized I didn't have no friends out here, that I needed to find myself, and I was lost, and I just couldn't do it no more. I was done.
Layered causes, not just one thing. It's easy to want a simple answer. Are people choosing homelessness? Is it just an addiction? Laziness? Poor planning? The reality is thornier, heavier, and tougher to face directly. At the core of this crisis lies a severe housing shortage. Arizona, like much of the nation, has watched rent prices soar in recent years. But the Grand Canyon state stands out for how quickly this pressure has grown. Since 2020, average rental costs have climbed over 20%, while affordable housing for low-income residents has barely increased. Currently, Arizona lacks at least 150,000 affordable housing units, and that gap widens every year. If you're a senior living on Social Security or a single parent with 2 kids working a low-wage job, you're likely spending over 60% of your income just to keep a roof overhead. That's not livable. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Meanwhile, federal safety nets that once kept people afloat, like COVID-era housing funds and rental aid, have largely disappeared. In their place, very little. Many local shelters have slashed capacity, some losing hundreds of beds overnight. The fallout is clear. More tents, more families, in cars, more people sleeping outside stores or drifting between bus stops. But it's not just about money or policy. Who are Arizona's homeless in 2025? To grasp Arizona's homelessness crisis in 2025, we must look closer with unflinching honesty. These aren't just faceless figures roaming city streets. They're parents, teens, veterans, and seniors. People who once had jobs, homes, daily routines. Now, many survive in tents, cars, or with no shelter at all. Recent data paints a vivid picture. Roughly 1 in 3 people facing homelessness in America here in Arizona belongs to a family. Often it's a single mother with kids, children still striving to complete homework, attend school, and cling to a sense of normalcy. More than 1 in 10 are under 18. That fact alone should give us pause. Another quietly growing group includes young adults, many fresh from foster care or escaping unstable homes now left on the streets without a safety net. At the opposite end are seniors, some in their 70s, battling Arizona's brutal desert heat with only a thin blanket and a water bottle. The state's summers show no mercy. In 2024, over 300 heat-related deaths were tied to homelessness. It's nothing short of a crisis. what Arizona is actually doing and where it's falling short. With the homelessness crisis in full view, what steps is Arizona taking to change the course? The reality is efforts are underway, but they're fragmented, uneven, and often too slow to match the rising demand. On the front lines, it's not state or federal leaders driving change, it's community organizations. Groups like St. Vincent de Paul step up where red tape slows progress. Their work goes beyond providing a bed for the night. They focus on prevention, case management, rent assistance, and lasting support. They grasp what many policymakers overlook. It's more cost-effective and compassionate to keep people housed than to rescue them after they've fallen. In Phoenix, leaders have introduced a fresh approach called safe outdoor spaces. These are managed designated encampments where people can sleep in tents, access basic hygiene, and meet with caseworkers. Each person gets a designated spot, sometimes even a number, and a chance to move towards stability. It's not housing, it's not a long-term fix. But in the face of scorching heat and overcrowded shelters, it's a step above sidewalks and parking lots. Yet these outdoor spaces face bureaucratic hurdles. The federal government doesn't recognize them as official shelters, so they often miss out on HUD housing funds. This restricts how many can be established or sustained, even as the need grows daily. City leaders have pushed for more flexibility, but progress is sluggish, caught in federal policy webs. Meanwhile, cities like Phoenix and Tucson are thinking creatively. They've started public-private partnerships to expand cooling centers during heat waves, acquired motel units for rapid rehousing, and sent out mobile outreach teams offering food, medical care, and mental health support directly to those on the streets. Some of these efforts are making a difference, others are barely keeping pace. But at every level, local, state, and federal, the same barrier looms. There's simply not enough housing. Even with vouchers, many can't find landlords willing to accept them. Rents keep climbing. Construction falls far behind demand. For every person lifted off the streets, many more slip into homelessness in America. Arizona is making an effort, but effort alone isn't enough when lives are lost to the heat and tents keep spreading across city blocks. So the question lingers, how long can temporary fixes hold when the system itself is broken? Political gridlock, Arizona's struggle to address the housing crisis. When you look at the Arizona state capitol in Phoenix, clarity doesn't come, it's replaced by frustration. In early 2025, the legislative session kicked off with a surge of bipartisan hope. lawmakers proposed several measures to confront the housing crisis, boosting the state's housing trust fund, offering tax breaks to developers for affordable units, speeding up permits for modular homes, and strengthening support for landlords accepting housing vouchers. On paper, these plans held real potential. They were practical focused and often backed by both parties, but the energy quickly fizzled. Some bills stalled in committee, never seeing the light of day. Others were vetoed by Governor Katie Hobbs, who raised concerns about budgets or policy details. Regardless of the reasons, the result was the same delay. Critics argue the state is moving too slowly. Others point to Arizona's deep-rooted conservative stance on public spending. Some lawmakers believe the government should stay out of housing, trusting the free market to fix itself. But let's be real, the market isn't building affordable homes. It's churning out luxury towers, upscale condos, and short-term vacation rentals. That's where the money lies. And as long as we wait for the market to solve a problem, it fueled more working families are pushed onto the streets. Local governments aren't idle. Tucson recently passed zoning changes to allow multifamily homes in areas once limited to single-family residences. Phoenix is investing in tiny home villages and exploring community land trusts to keep rents within reach. These are smart, forward-thinking steps, but they need time. And time is a luxury those living on the streets don't have. So, we're left with two tough questions. Why is it taking so long to act with true urgency? And what kind of leadership allows people to perish under freeway overpasses while funds and politics will go unused? Homelessness in America isn't just a product of bad planning or tough economics. It's also the result of political decisions of inaction cloaked as discussion. Unless that changes, the tents will keep multiplying, the suffering will grow louder, and the shame will cut deeper. Let's dive deeper into what this means on a human level. Personal viewpoint, I walk those streets. I'll be straight with you. Writing about homelessness is tough. It's emotionally exhausting, sometimes maddening, and often heart-wrenching. But it's vital, and it's personal. Last winter, I visited a sprawling, unsheltered encampment in Phoenix near 15th Avenue and Jefferson Street. The morning air carried a chill, yet the sun glared down like a threat. The camp sprawled across several blocks. Tents crafted from blue tarps and salvaged signs swayed with each gust. Dogs barked from somewhere within. People moved quietly, some brushing their teeth with bottled water, others lining up at a food truck. I met Carlos, a 41-year-old former warehouse worker. He'd been homeless in America for almost 2 years after an injury stopped him from lifting heavy loads. His disability payments couldn't cover rent. Shelters, he said, were either packed or unsafe. "So I stay here," he told me, gesturing to his tent. "It's better than getting robbed or attacked in a shelter." Then there was Jasmine, a 27-year-old mother with a young child. Her husband died from heat stroke the previous summer. She said they'd tried everything: housing waitlists, sleeping in their car, dialing every number they were given. "You keep pushing because there's no other choice," she said, "but some nights I wonder if this is how it ends." These aren't idle people. They're not defeated. They're trapped in a system that keeps letting them down. And every time we turn away, every time we brush them off with a stereotype or a sigh, we contribute to that failure. I left that morning feeling heavy, not because I had a warm bed to return to, but because I could walk away and they couldn't. Seven hard choices ahead. Arizona stands at a crossroads in tackling its homelessness crisis, and the decisions made in the coming years will shape countless lives. The state must choose between clinging to short-term patches or committing to lasting solutions that address the root causes of homelessness in America. Essential investments are needed in affordable housing, mental health services, job training, and community support networks. Every day without decisive action, every bill stalled in committees, and every unspent dollar is a choice that impacts real people. Those choices carry profound consequences. Building 150,000 new affordable housing units in Arizona may seem daunting, but the real question is, can we afford to ignore this crisis any longer? Each year, hundreds of lives are lost to preventable causes: scorching heat, untreated trauma, and illnesses that proper care could have stopped. Arizona cannot keep bandaging a broken system when the cost is measured in human lives. Now is the moment for courageous action. Bold action isn't just about more funding, it's about thinking creatively. We need zoning reforms to make affordable housing a reality in the areas that need it most. We need partnerships with tribal nations to meet unique needs and offer culturally sensitive solutions. Mobile health clinics must expand to bring care to the homeless, reaching those who'd otherwise go without. Supportive housing should be tied to long-term care programs to help individuals rebuild and break the cycle of homelessness. Beyond these structural changes, we must transform our mindset. It's time to stop punishing poverty and approach homelessness with compassion and understanding. We must challenge the "not in my backyard" attitude that blocks shelters and housing projects. This crisis can't be ignored any longer. It's unfolding now, and without action, it will only worsen. The time for real, lasting change is here. Conclusion. Homelessness in Arizona is more than a problem. It's a vivid wake-up call to how fast lives can fall apart. These aren't just numbers or nameless faces. They're people who once had careers, homes, and dreams they thought were safe. Arizona, now grappling with this escalating crisis, exposes the flaws in our systems that let so many slip through the cracks. When you pass someone in a tent or holding a sign on a street corner, it's tempting to turn away. But pause and think, what if that were you? What would you hope the world would do for you? because in truth, none of us are far from that same fate. The moment to act is now.